What's going on, everybody? It's Webster RC here, and today we're going to be showing you, or I'm going to be showing you how to replace a window regulator on a 2001 Chevrolet Suburban. Really, it can work on a 2001 and all the way up to like 2006. And relatively simple job. What you need to do, so I already got a head start on it. So this would normally be up here, right? So what you want to do is grab a flat screwdriver, doesn't matter, take off the window lock or the door lock. That'll be right here. Just stick a knife or a trim piece, pop it out here. This will pop out, and same goes for the door trim down here. You go ahead and pop it off all around, just kind of feel around it, pop it off, and then there will be a right in here. It's going to be a 7mm screw, 7mm hex screw that you can take off, as well as down here. Let's take those off. This could easily just lift up. It comes up to about right here. That's what I'll keep it. And then this little guy will be in here. Just pull that off to the side. And then when it comes to this one, what I did was take the door off and set it up right as if the door would be closed. And this connector would be inside this port here. You can grab either a screwdriver or use your almighty grip, push this in and pull down. Just don't break it, it's not gonna break, but just kind of keep subconscious mind while you're pulling it. Other than that, you can happily set this aside. You can put it inside, put it whatever. Go ahead and take it and put it up in the driver's seat for now. And now we get to this part. As you can tell, window regulator is out here because there's this crack and the customer wants it to get fixed. So some people like to go and take off the handle so you can pull this seal here. So what you can do is, that would be definitely not a 10mm. It is a 10mm, so you can grab a 10mm hex. I recommend getting a small one just so you can, the door's not in the way. Got a 10mm and put it on, and you can just kind of ease with it here. And this, what that does basically, whenever you take this off, you can take off this entire seal, set it off to the side, and you can work with ease without this interfering. What you also want to do is grab a flat head, and right there, this white piece of plastic right there, you want to get it off. That's what retains the this rod here that opens the door. So all you gotta do is just take it off for that to have a better time of taking the door handle off. Just make sure not to break it. All right, so once you get that off, basically what you do, well, what I did is kind of angle the screwdriver inside here, push out, hold with your finger this part here, and then stick the screwdriver in the middle and then just pop it out. Once you do that, you can continue to finish up the 10mm bolt.
get somewhere here, and
once this comes out, set it off to the side here so that you remember where it is. And now all you got to do is just pull this forward like so. So you also want to pop this up here out of the housing. So now you can, now that's out, you can just yank this out. Set it off to the side, don't lose it. And now you got your speaker, seal. So as for now, all you have to do is just peel the seal off. And what a lot of people have recommended is you can use like a knife to slice through, because I mean, you can either like glue it back together again with hot glue or the sealant, or you can just stick this back in. That's really what it does. So, and I'll just set you all here so you can watch how I do it. Alright, so for the time being here, you have access to the mounts that hold the window in place. So you want to grab, I believe that's also a 10mm. Let's double check that. Yep, it is going to be a 10mm socket that you can access. And you just basically unscrew it. It's going to be a little tight, so don't worry about it. Just break it loose, and you don't have to take it out all the way, but that'll be up to you. Give you all a closer show here. If you look, there it is right there. There's one and there's two. That is what holds the window. Well, now that you got a little loose here, you can. You don't have to take this all the way, just enough for you to access all the main parts. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is, because you have to access the bottom as well, so you just tear off some of the bottom here, just like that. So, and here is, let's first get this out of the way, but here's where you need to unbolt. This is 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 right there. All right. Let's switch the camera to front so y'all can see properly. I'm not gonna unhook it just yet. I'm gonna remove some of the seal here to get to the other side. One thing I want to mention before you take off the regulator, and you just remember you'd have to take off the speaker, unhook the window motor, which is, you know, shouldn't take about a few minutes, and I believe it's still a 10mm. Yep. Just take off the speaker first. There you go, 1, 2, 3. Speaker comes off like so, and you have a connector here. Just hold it from the top down. This is the wire, this is the bottom. Just hold it from the top right here, and just should be able to unhook it. Actually, never mind, disregard. So yeah, the speaker's like this. It's going to be on this side. Here is the clip that you have to pinch down. You can do it with your hand, you can do it with a screwdriver. It doesn't matter. Just click click it, and then you want to pull. So click and pull. Just like that. Comes off. Here's the speaker. Set it to the side. Now that you got your speaker off, you want to unhook the window motor. And the window motor does come, well, one, this is the clip right here. I'll show you. This is the clip. You have to take this apart, push on that tab, and then just pull. You have to push that tab, and that's about it. And there's a few, I believe the bolts are in the back. I will let you know the exact measurements. I just have to unhook it. Like I said before, you can use a knife, you can use a screwdriver, it doesn't matter, just to get it off. There you go. Take that off. And now there's one more 10 millimeter right off to the side here. See it in the corner. Take that off, and that will unhook the motor. There we go. Right, so this one's a little tricky. You gotta kind of fight with that adhesive a little bit. Once you get it on, it's just simple. There you go. Now that's out. And it's an 8 millimeter hex in the back to unhook the motor. There's about one, should be only one bolt that's holding this together, I believe. It's one, oh, disregard, that's two. There's two. It's just one's right here, one's right there. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a third one at the bottom. So we'll start with number one. We'll get the extension. There we go. Alright, so now that you're taking out the motor, right here, now that you're taking, you did this one, now you have to take off the other four that we showed before that are 10 millimeters. So you take this, go back where you found it, take a 10 millimeter. Now we start with this one right here. There's one broke. There's the second one off to the side here. All right, so now you got all four. So I'd go ahead and take off the other bolts that were holding the window to begin with, the ones that we broke loose and not taken off. Take those two bolts off. There's one, and there's the second one. Just like that. So now I got these two bolts here. Now this comes loose. Remember, do not take the window off without putting something to jam it, to make sure the window doesn't slide down in on its own, because that will be a disaster that you don't want to deal with. So I've got that loose, I can just about wiggle this free. And what some people would do, that take the trim piece, bring it over, hook up to the connector up here, hook it up, and then roll the window down. Turn it on. Apparently mine does not work, so that's okay. It's far enough down that we can take off the window in and of itself. So, old regulator. Just be careful of the window itself. One part. Gotta be mindful not to damage any wiring or any stuff that you have on the vehicle that you're not taking off with the regulator itself. So and just like that, you have the old regulator out. All right, now to reinstallation. So you have your new one. In theory, it should come with all the bolts that you require, so you wouldn't have to worry about it in that aspect. So as it is like this, this is how it should be inside the window, or inside the door, I should say. Now the plastic thing that's in it, you can just leave that alone. It's just to hold it together as it is, like this whole structure. So that's how it would be inside the door. So what you want to do is, what I would recommend is to take the motor out, same way we did the other one. And since I didn't show y'all because it was behind the door, this is what you're taking apart inside. Right here, there's 1, 2, and 3. There's a third one right there. There's 1, 2, 3 that you got to take apart for the motor to come out. So, and it just makes it a lot easier. It gives you a peace of mind. But because whenever you try to put it in right now, I'll probably show you. Now, odds are people can get it inside without taking apart the motor, and that's great, you know, more power to you. It just depends on the person in question. The other one's just for more simplicity. Now you can take this, and with relative peace of mind, you can ease it in to the door. Like I said, just be cognizant of the rod that opens the door. You don't want to break it or bend it. And indeed, take your time, you know, because you are not in a rush. Just put it in sideways. So once it's in there, you can stand everything up as you need to. Check your stuff. Make sure don't hurt yourself on any of the stuff, because some of the stuff is sharp. like so. Just ease it on in there. Make sure you're not getting snagged on any of the other stuff. There you go, there's one. There you go. Now we got all the components in. Gotta stand them up just like that for now. And we want to put back together the bolts that you took off from the window motor. So you've got 3. That's 3 right there. So go ahead and put that back together. There's one. And one other thing that you can do to prevent you from having, you know, a heartburn like that is to put the mounts of the regulator, put it in the respective spots up here. So they all should come with their own bolts, but I would keep the ones that you have already to use if you have to.
So, one mount. There's 2. This one.
Now the bottom requires you to have your initial bolts, as they do not come with their own. So you'd either have to outsource some, but this is the ones that it went with here. And these are still 8mm, or 10mm, I'm sorry. Yeah. So just put it on as such. One and the other one, they all have this rubbery thing, so just take that off. We can now continue to install the rest of the motor here. Now we have to get the bolt that was right here and put that one back in, and this is the correct one. And don't forget the bolts for these. The ones that hold the window. And that bolt is one of the more difficult ones to put back together. Alright, now that you've done that, go ahead and connect your new motor in. And now you can start tightening up all these bolts here. You know, it doesn't have to be crazy tight, just nice and snug. There we go. After you've done that, go up here and tighten up the top ones as well. All right. Now that you've done that, you can go ahead and very gently hold the window. And you're taking this, you know, your whatever you were holding with the window with out. And just make sure you're holding on to the holding on to the window Then you can just easily just set it down onto your new window regulator. You know, it's easy does it. This one has one bolt, so you can just as easily slightly unbolt this one. Just like that. Make sure it's open enough for the window to come in. The saying goes, smooth like butter.
So, all I gotta do now is just, well, don't have to tighten it up just yet. So, we'll leave it untied.
You can leave it relatively loose. If you're gonna check if the window works or not, once you got that connected, you're gonna have to connect this one as well. Whoa, careful not to drop it. Check, look at that. Now it works perfectly. You can also check it. Rolls down. Rolls up as well. Check, make sure it's not getting stuck on anything. There you go. Now you have a perfectly functioning window. So now, all you have to do now is just unplug it or turn off the car. If you have done as I have right now, just turn off your car and then finish what you've started once you unplug the connector again. All right, so now that you've done that and you've secured your window, so now you can access all the bolts. As you can see, as you can see right here, this one already has one single bolt. The other one does not. So we'll use from our tools here and the stuff that we took up from the previous regulator. Go ahead and put this on it here. Then just do it until it's finger tight. Then you can use your socket. Check that one. Make sure it's on tight. Then you can use this one. You can use any other stuff, i.e. a bigger socket. Just like so. You may have to tighten it up like this a few times. There you go. All right, now that you've done that, we're off to putting together the speaker. Fun. So, sit y'all down right here. And now you can just glue this now back together or install it back together. So just line it up where you see the adhesive was originally. Just kind of move your hand across it.
It doesn't have to be, super perfect, just perfect enough where you can put your stuff back together. You know, left one does not want to. There we go. And then just put it all together, just like that. And if you need to readjust, that's all you need to do. I'm doing it right now. Just want to reposition it up a little bit.
Remember, we got to put back the speaker. So take this. You can plug it in now. You can plug it in later, whenever you want to do it. Just remember to do so. Otherwise, you'll be questioning yourself, why is my speaker not working? So we got that. And place it back where it was. I have to peel some of this off again to get to said speaker mount. I believe my speaker has latched onto the, there we go. Now you can bring it, hold it, and put the bolts in. You don't have to make it finger tight, just put it on go ahead and start tightening it up. Adhesive, just be cognizant of the holes where the screws would go in for like whenever you're reinstalling the trim. So just kind of keep that on the back burner as you're putting this back together. Good enough. So we can go ahead and take our door handle, don't forget the rod, and slide it back in place. There's 3 plastic tabs that have to go in. So just kind of angle it a little bit. Give it a slight angle. Adjust the plastic if need be. Might take a couple minutes. And just take your time. Just like so. It's not unreal, just, you know, just kind of takes a little bit. Now it's lined up with the hole. Find your 10mm again. And don't forget to put the rod back together so you can actually, you know, access your door from the inside. Just like so. Lift the lever, put it in the little hole, and push this tab back over it. And that's it. Put the screw in, or the bolt in, I should say. All right, so now that you've done that, now all you need to do is put the trim piece back on here, which isn't crazy, so, you know, just all you need is you have these hooks right here, have to go in specific areas, right here, 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 and right over there, and here as well. So you can hook this up as you're putting the trim in. You know, you just gotta kind of pay attention to where you're putting it, and you also have to line it up on the window frame right here. It's nothing unreal. Just kind of keep that in your mind as you're putting the trim pieces in. Don't forget to put in the don't forget to put in the light here. Now you can wiggle it, make sure it's not moving anywhere. You know, so now this is in place. Kind of tug on it, make sure it's not, you know, moving around. If that's the case. Remember, I believe 8mm. You take your 10mm, all your other sockets, you can take it back and put it, you know, back in your box. Just taking off some of this adhesive. This back together. Remember, there is one hole right there, is the one under the door handle. Cool. Then have to be careful with these, because these are plastic holders, or it lines onto plastic, so it just might break. Just be careful. Now it's going right there, same one. Just ease on through. This is basically the home run right there. Cool. Now let it go, because otherwise you may break the thing it was holding on to. I forget what, the mount. Now you just put on the trim piece, or the trim pieces, I should say. So here's one. This is for the door handle. Put it through here. it off from one side to the other, and then just push down, just like that. Nice and smooth. There's one. And the other one, you want the red side to be facing the outside of the door this way. So line it up and just push in, check it. Works just fine, just like a charm. And there you have it, folks. This is how you can install a window regulator into your Chevrolet Suburban. It could be, I believe, 2000 all the way to 2006. That's pretty much it. It's not crazy difficult. You just gotta, stick with it. Piece by piece, it'll get the job done. Thank y'all and have a good day. I'll catch you next time.